Thank you for the invitation. I'm going to do a practical view on the use of VR in a lab called DigTek Lab. If you have any questions while I talk, please just raise your hand and I'll try to see it. So, the name of my presentation is Supporting Teachers in Using XR, and that includes students as well. So a little bit about DigTek Lab first, what kind of equipment and what we have within the field of XR, and then how we utilize and use it in the lab. The DigTek Lab is an arena to explore, to learn and to create in a technology-rich environment. It's located at Campus Notodden, and the focus is on PFDK, Professional Digital Competence for Teachers, programming, makerspace, edtech, virtual reality, gaming and games, media production, and pedagogical, I'm not going to put that word in the presentation, it's hopeless, pedagogical use of technology. This is me and my team, so I'm the person working there most days, and then I have 2 student assistants who do the afternoon shift at the lab. And the DigTek Lab is inspired by future classroom labs and also the makerspace movement. And the Future Classroom Labs by European Schoolnet, the network of future labs in Norway consists of different rooms in the university sector with links to the original room in Brussels. And there's a focus on different learning zones and active learning, like the zone Create, and that these are accompanied with different work processes and possibilities. And the makerspace is a movement where the emphasis is on the art of making, on how to use ideas, creative processes, and each other as resources, and how to combine traditional materials with technology. A little bit about what we have. This is just a short list, but it tells you a little bit about mangfold, or the diversity of what we have in the lab. So we have a lace cutter, we have 3D printers, we have Cricut makers, there are smart cutting machines, we have a media room with green screen equipment, and we have programming equipment like microbit, Spero robots, and other. And we also have VR and VR headsets and an AR sandbox. DigTek Lab as a meeting place. The project DigTek Lab originated from Faculty of Humanities, Sports and Educational Science. And we are a meeting place for primary and kindergarten teacher education, special education, visual and performing arts education, and including a lot of the programs under that department as well as partnering schools and classes. So if you know Notodden, they are seminar and they are online based, some of the studies, and others of these studies they're at the school every day. And we are also open for other people that ask, and other campuses as well. And you can read more about us at our blog, Facebook page or Instagram if you want to. And a little bit about extended reality at DigTek Lab. We are showcasing some of the technologies that we know are out there that we want to show to our teachers or students. And we have virtual reality VR headsets. We have augmented reality with the AR sandbox, and then we have a small thing called Merge Cube as well. I know some of you have used it before. We have different equipment. We have Oculus Quests. They're the newest headset. These we can lend out. And then we have the HTC Vive that we use in the lab mostly. And then we have the AR Sandbox, which is an interactive and dynamic educational tool to help understand maps, geography, topography, and more. And you can build, let's see if it works. You can build an island and you can create rivers, and the colors shift according to the height level of the map. So it's quite a good thing to showcase when you have students or teachers in, because you can actually do something and then it relates and it changes. Our sandbox is called the Magic Sandbox, and it's been built by people who run the lab before, and they've coded this as well. So it's a free source, open source coding that's out there on GitHub. Do it. It's quite nice and it's sensory to use. The kids love to use it, and the grown-ups as well. More of the pictures from our lab and our sandbox. And then there's Merge Cube, which is a small ball or a small Rubik cube sort of, with coding that when you use the camera on an iPad or a phone, you can transfer an object. So it's like a digital canvas. It can be a beating heart, a solar system that you spin around, or objects from a museum, depending on what kind of app you use for it. How we showcase XR in DigTek Lab. We are a meeting place for many student or teacher education, the kindergarten and in primary school as well. We have introductory activities for courses and classes that are interested. And often we use stations that include VR and AR. We work with teachers that want to include VR and AR in their teaching to find solution how to incorporate these educational activities in their plans. And we support students in their research project. And we lend out equipment, and we also do training on requests. And you can also use the VR equipment or the extended reality in our drop-in hours. So every Tuesday and Thursday, we are open for students and teachers to explore, plan for educational activities and use all our equipment, including the VR and the AR sandbox. On alternate Wednesdays, we host drop-in sessions. We have gaming events that include use of VR and other activities that are open for all that is linked to Campus Notodden. We also have something on DigTek Lab Explores, where we invite students and teacher educators to collaborate and explore different topics, programs or technologies. It could, for instance, be a VR program from the museum sector, like Tidvis and Oslo Havn 1798, or we can use the Anne Frank's house or other things that we want to explore. So we invite them in. There's sort of you can just come in, explore with us, and we want to try and facilitate that a bit more. Sorry, I have a bit gjenklang. Is the sound okay for you? Yeah, then I'll just continue. We have a focus on creating producers, not merely consumers of technology. So extended reality in DigTek Lab is a small part, but it's a visible part of what we do. And we facilitate both technological and pedagogical support of the use of XR for teachers and students, but we're not experts on the technical part. We have to explore alongside the others and then test to find possibilities and solutions together with them. And to build the competence in creating producers, it also requires additional components that we work on in DigTek Lab. For example, creating for 3D design and making, programming skills and knowledge, and the use of animation and media like green screen in education. So we see this together, not separate. And some of the examples of what we do. Just showcasing it is an introduction activity for the course Speaka, and then the use of Beat Saber and VR headset in a master thesis. Yeah, I think you know him when I'm talking about him later, because I think he's been in contact with you. And then just an educational activity that's planned for the kindergarten teacher education that I call the Beating Heart. So introduction to Speaka. This is a normal kind of request that we get when people are coming in. We say, okay, this week, visit from the course Speaka, the teacher students from the Nordic countries, 30 people. We want to showcase DigTek Lab. We want to discuss the technology. What can you show us? So their focus is on technology, innovation and sustainability. They also have an interest in gaming. So we made stations where they could explore and reflect on the use of different technologies, connecting this to the sustainability goals. For instance, the use of VR and the Beat Saber. Could the use of virtual reality contribute to well-being and good health? Test Beat Saber. So they could test this one And then we connected it to the master thesis that's written by Kjartan at Physical Education at USN Campus Bø, where he used Oculus Quest and the game Beat Saber to see if there are, how the energy use is and the intensity during a session with a VR game. So we asked them to reflect, did you get your heart pumping? What do you think the conclusion of his thesis came to? I know it, some of you probably know it as well, but they had to reflect on it. And the station with the AR Sandbox, they were asked to explore the AR Sandbox, to feel the sand, build the mountains, make rivers and lakes. And there are also a game that's possible in this magic sand combination, so they could use that as well. And we asked them to reflect on how do you propose the sandbox can be used in your classroom. Is there a difference in use for kindergarten and primary school? Is there something you have to think about? And then the second thing this year, we had this Kjartan master thesis. He wrote about the energy use and intensity. He borrowed the equipment from us, and he's a solid gamer himself, so he knew how to use the equipment, but he used it with our licenses at the lab in Bø. And I think some of you have been in contact with him as well. But this is sort of what we want to do with our Oculus Quests. We want to support students who do their master thesis or other researchers, and also teachers if they want to. And it's easier to do with the Oculus Quest than the HTC Vive. So to make it possible that they can actually do deep dives into this. So this is just the Beat Saber for those of you. This is the setup that we have in our lab. So when they use the HTC Vive, we do it in the room, and then they can show it in the screen as well. Have all of you done Beat Saber? Yes, yes. No, some of you haven't. Then you should come to us and try it. It's quite fun, and it's a good way of testing VR, I think. A beating heart. So this is sort of deep dives or collaborations with teachers that we want to do more of. But we are sort of, we have to have people interested. So the other things that we do, showcasing the equipment and the technology, is a way of getting people in and asking them to reflect on how can you use it in your topics or your courses. So we have an interesting part. He has been doing this a couple of years ago as well, teacher educator, in kindergarten teacher education, and he has the subject body and heart. And they planned on their part an activity to dissect a heart of a deer, and we looked into possibilities for adding the technology and the digital computer on this part. So we planned for the students to view the heart in virtual reality. And then we added, for those of you, because we have one headset and it's 30 students, so we need the rest of them to do something else while they're waiting. So we also added the heart and other organs with MergeCube, an app called Anatomy AR, and the use of ProVise interactive screens to build. They have an inbuilt 3D tool, which also showcases the heart. This was not possible to do because of the COVID restrictions, but we have this in plan for the next session or next year for this one. And I'm just going to show you this one. This is an old version. There's a newer one as well, but it's quite... Let's see if it's working. No. Here's this one then. Just a taste of the program that we were supposed to use. with this kindergarten teacher. Oh, let's see if I can get there. These are the things that we do today. So we have been subject to COVID restrictions, and the VR headset are now in use for the first time since March 2020. So we started using them now this September. We got a yes from the beredskap team, and then we have to sort of use the sprit and so on to use it. And we're very happy to take them in use again, because a lot of people want to go and try this out, and this is what we can facilitate. So we are excited to explore new possibilities with them, with the students and teacher educators. And we also, I'm listening to some of you today talking about AR and how to use it in work-based education as well. It's very interesting, because we always look for user-friendly solutions that are easily adaptable to schools. Right? We can't only have the expensive solution and the difficult to carry out solutions. We need solutions that we can transfer to kindergartens and other schools. So we want to explore the use of AR on iPads. For instance, Reality Composer and Ludenso, which a sister sort of lab in Stavanger has used Ludenso in a project. So these are the things that we know that we want to explore, and we are open for other possibilities as well. I think I'm done, but do you have any questions at all? Yeah.
I don't have a question, I have a comment.
Yeah.
Because the rest of us are using a UV box to keep our headsets clean. So it also could be used in co-wildlife.
So you have a UV box?
Yes.
Ooh.
So we all have that under different labs in USN.
Do you?
Yes.
And I don't know this.
I think you should get one too.
Yes,
yeah.
absolutely. So it's, oh, fantastic, thank you. Yeah, that could solve some issues. Yeah. So how long does it take to because we have
2 minutes?
2 minutes? Okay, we're getting one. Yeah. Thank you, that's very good. Yeah. Other questions or comments? Yeah. Thank you for having me. I'm very grateful to listening to all of you today. It's an interesting input for me in the lab as well. And you are welcome to come and visit us. Yeah.